What if I told you that you've been explaining A-level economics diagrams wrong this entire time? Everybody knows how important diagrams are in A-level economics, but I've seen time and time again how students just use floating diagrams and they don't describe them well enough to get full marks in their A-level economics exams. So let me give you an acronym to make sure that you get full marks every single time. If you're new around here, my name is Nevin and I help A-level economics students get A stars. Like I said, a lot of the time students use floating diagrams and examiners hate to see diagrams that have just been chucked into an answer and not mentioned adequately enough. You're missing out on easy application marks from just mentioning points on your diagram. So the acronym that you need to remember to get full marks in A-level economics diagrams every single time is SPEQ. This stands for shift, price, equilibrium and quantity. So let's start off with the example of an indirect tax in microeconomics. As we know, indirect taxes are a form of government intervention to try and solve market failure and reduce the consumption and production of harmful demerit goods like alcohol and cigarettes. So let's assume we've talked about that in our knowledge point to demonstrate that we know what indirect taxes are used for, and now we have to chuck in the diagram. The first thing we're going to show is this leftward shift in your supply curve. That covers off the S bit of SPEQ. Because of this leftward shift in supply, how the indirect tax actually works is that it causes a difference in the price faced by consumers and producers. The higher price is paid by consumers and the lower price is received by producers, which the difference between them is government revenue. So we've got the leftward shift in supply. What this means is that this changes our equilibrium, which initially was at P star Q star point A, and it causes us to move to a higher price faced by consumers and lower quantity. So now we've covered the shift in supply, we've covered the changes in price, we've covered the old and new equilibrium, and now we've covered the lower quantity as well. So using this four-step framework, you can see how with the application of an indirect tax, we're able to capture the full marks that we need. If we apply this to macroeconomics for a second, it's a bit different because you have to relate them to your four macroeconomic objectives, which are low and stable inflation, economic growth, full employment, and a current account balance on the balance of payments. So let's take an example of an expansionary fiscal policy where aggregate demand shifts right. The first thing we're going to show is that AD shifts right, which means that we've covered our S bit of our acronym. The price bit here is a bit different because we know there's an increase in the general price level in the economy. There is demand side inflationary pressure from this rightward shift in AD, which we talk about. The equilibrium has shifted to the right, and now we get an increase in economic growth, which is our x-axis here. Because of this expansionary demand side policy, there is real actual economic growth happening here, which is our Q bit of our acronym. So you can see how using this SPEQ acronym, we've talked about the microeconomics and how our economic agents, namely our consumers, firms, and the government, respond to this indirect tax. And on the macroeconomic side, we can talk about the effects of this expansionary demand side policy on our economic agents as well, our households, our firms, and the government. So using this four-step framework, I want you to apply it to every single diagram you ever write down in A-level economics. It's going to help you so much actually think about how economic agents react to different changes in market conditions through the shift, the prices, the equilibrium, and the quantity. If you think about all these four changes, you'll be able to get full marks in A-level economics. If you found this video helpful and you want full marks for A-level economics, you need to check out my A-star analysis video. Here I cover the watermelons leak acronym to make sure that you get full marks in A-level economics every single time. I'll catch you next time.